Verse 33 of the third chapter of John's Gospel continues the theme that John has been developing, that Jesus is the one who brings information, perspective, knowledge from above, from over all things, from heaven. He doesn't simply speak from the perspective of earth, which others may do and can do, and indeed Jesus himself would do, but the point is that Jesus could uniquely speak from the perspective of heaven. He had seen, he had heard, and this is what he bore witness to. And John, in a general way, says that witness was not accepted. However, once again, he allows at this point that there is an exception to the rule. Just as in chapter 1, he says, he came to his own, and his own received him not, but as many as received him, to them he gave the authority to become children of God. Here again, we have a similar kind of exception. So Jesus has heard and seen. Fraud is above, he's borne witness to it. Generally it's been rejected, but now verse 33, ho, the article, nominative, singular, masculine, the labon, from lambano, this is the participle, it's the nominative, masculine participle, the receiving, autou, of him, tein marturion, the witness or the testimony. So the one who receives his testimony, and again the autou coming in front of tein martian rather than behind it, which we might normally expect, gives an added degree of emphasis to it. The one who receives his, particularly his, with an emphasis there on his testimony, esfragisen. This is from phragedzo, which means to set a seal, to stamp something, like a signet ring or some such thing. And so this is John indicating that the person who receives Jesus' testimony has actually, in a sense, certified or put his signet ring, put his stamp of approval on the proposition hoti, that, ho theos, that God, aletheis, estin, that God is true. Aletheis, of course, for true, the adjective, and estin, here it is, and so that God is true. In other words, a person who receives the testimony of Christ is putting his stamp of approval on the proposition that God himself is true. Again, this is a rather remarkable and somewhat sweeping statement, and it comes very, very close to an affirmation of the deity of Christ in order to say that this affirmation of Jesus' words is an affirmation that God himself is true. And so we find once again the elevated view that John has of Jesus comes shining through in a statement such as this. And it also was a way of saying that any person who accepted the testimony of Jesus was, in a sense, not only accepting Jesus' testimony, but accepting the very testimony of God with respect to Jesus.